Huh? Huh? Big man, run around like hitman, jit man, fuck around, get split man. You my biggest critic, gotta be a big fan. No face, no case, no chase, bitch man. Which man, why she gotta be a bitch man? Call on my phone when I'm trying to hit a leak man. Think a motherfucker got coke, cut sick man. Call it AK-47 where he got kicked man. I've been wearing pump, H, call it drip man. Fuck it if it bitches, I ain't tellin', call it chip.
And the hitmen of Tuesday night are back. It is the Ask Us Sports Podcast with our special guest tonight, kind of filling in for our man Viggy Betts, is Bagels. And then we've got my man Viggy down there, and then we've got Kembo, Jay, Slice. Andy, tell us the big news.
Yeah. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Can you all hear me okay? Okay, good. Yeah. So, new addition to the Viggy Nation family. Excuse me, I'm driving in my car here, driving home, so bear with me. But we have a beautiful baby girl, born 10:03 a.m. this morning. Healthy, sleeping basically all day, which was the opposite of my first daughter, born 2 years and 5 days ago. Her name's Sophia Marie Vigilati, and she weighed in at 7 pounds, 15 ounces, and 19 and 3/4 inches, I should say. So I've been at the hospital all day. I'm just leaving now, actually. So I figured I'd join in on the commute home, but then I have a little bit more fatherly duties tonight than normal.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you and the wife.
Congrats, sir.
Happy for you.
Thank
Ken,
you. Yeah.
Ken, how was your weekend, brother?
It was swell, Shane. Thank you for asking. Not much to report. Standard weekend in my book. Went to a card show. Hung out there for a little bit, made some snags, but other than that, just a standard weekend, and I'm back here.
Bagels, how was your weekend, brother?
Yeah, it was good. Really low key. I mean, we had Ken's break on Sunday, so that was fun to watch. But yeah, no, nothing much.
Awesome. Jumping right into it. EPL off to a hot start this first weekend. Bagels, this is your chance to talk shit to Andy. His team, Arsenal, got the shit pushed in 2-0. And
even I saw that.
The team that you told him to pick, Liverpool, ended up pulling it out and winning. So talk a little bit to him.
I don't know how Leicester City fared out. I'm assuming they won. So I think of the 4 Viggy had, the team he picked lost to a team that had not been in the top tier of EPL since 1947, and then just get curb stomped 2-0. I mean, it was a great feeling this weekend. I mean, there were so many times I wanted to tweet at Viggy, but I knew the kid was on the way. I didn't want to add the extra stress. He might have just passed out in the room during the birth, so I thought I'd ease up on him. But
your boy Mo Salah showed out too. Mohamed Salah, the
eighth wonder
man of
he didn't score first for Liverpool, but that's that was one of the bets I had. But actually, you know what? Liverpool pulled it out for me on a bet, so I'm okay with that.
Now Liverpool has cashed out for Viggy once, and Arsenal has cashed out 0. So
that's okay. That's okay. We had 3 of our best players not play. So I mean, I'm still encouraged. I don't know if we're going to beat Chelsea with a full squad or not. Probably not. Hopefully, just kind of hoping for a draw there. But nonetheless, I think with 3 guys out, it's kind of hard to be competitive. I was hoping we could have at least gotten 1 to cash my beat on both teams to score, but I still think we're okay. I still think we got plenty of life.
Andrew, I know you're driving, but Bagels is just showing you a little graphic.
Oh my God, that's huge.
I got the cash out tally marker right here for the season. Liverpool 1, Arsenal 0. And this is the
good. That's okay. You have the ask around tally next to you.
Well,
I'm okay with that. Like I said, there's having 3 of your better guys out and Saka not starting, it's going to be hard, to be competitive. I was still having faith in my guys picking Arsenal to win, but nonetheless, that's what happened. I think
feel
we'll
like I
be. I
saw
think
some.
we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. I'm not panicking.
Barcelona. Arsenal's going for someone from Barcelona or vice versa.
I'd just like to point out that Captain America, Christian Pulisic, scored a goal for Chelsea this weekend. He looked fantastic, so that bodes well for Team USA. Also, Lukaku's gonna be playing this weekend against Arsenal. Arsenal's gonna get their shit pushed in by Chelsea. Chelsea's gonna win 3-0. I think the over 1.5.
I'm not going to go that. Okay, we're not going to go that far. I know you want to
win
trash
by
talk.
over 1.5 is probably a good bet, considering Arsenal just lost 2-0 to a team that hasn't
If
been.
all our guys are playing, I'm hoping for at least a draw. Realistically,
You're not going to see it. That's not realistic. That's a prayer. Draw Chelsea. Chelsea's roster is 10 times better than Arsenal's.
I don't know. Arsenal can look like a loss.
Arsenal can play, man.
They can play, but they can't play with Chelsea.
We're gonna find out. Hopefully.
I don't even think they'd be able to beat Norwich.
Let's not go that far. I mean, I'm saying you're judging Arsenal based on 3 of their top guys. Actually, 4 really.
One of the best
Saka
in the world. And he didn't even play last week.
Yeah. So really, all we need to do is go up from there. So if they play, I'm expecting.
Lukaku plays for Chelsea, bud.
Their results. So you're judging Arsenal. You're judging Arsenal based on. I understand that, but we had 3-4 guys that did not play that are 3 of our better offensive talent players.
Andrew, do you want to
so really, you're judging Arsenal based on that, which isn't really fair.
Yes.
I'll bet that Chelsea wins.
He does.
I'll bet Chelsea wins by at least 2 goals. I'll take the over.
Chelsea may win, but it's not going to be a blowout fashion that you're expecting.
I'll take the over 1.5.
Assuming that
for 25. Do you want to put 25 on it? Let's do it.
I'm not putting any money on it, Shane. I'm just telling you that you
so a draw doesn't look realistic.
Expect a better Arsenal team, assuming we're at full strength.
So, as you can see, Viggy doesn't think that a draw is actually realistic.
Expect a better.
But anyways, continuing.
Expect a better Arsenal performance. You're not even letting me finish. You're not even letting me finish. So go ahead.
Okay, please finish.
All I'm saying is I would expect a better result with a full-strength Arsenal lineup. I'm not saying they're going to beat Chelsea, but what I'm saying is it's not going to be a blowout by 3 goals that you're expecting. It may be a 1-goal game. Hell, it may even be a draw. And if it's a draw, man, I am giving you shit because you said that Arsenal is going to lose by 3 goals, and that's not going to happen. We'll find out. We'll find out.
We'll see.
A draw is a win for me, Shane. A draw is a win for me. A draw is a win for me, Shane. So you better hope Chelsea backs that up, even with a full strength Arsenal. So we'll see.
Oh, they are going to back it up. They're going to more than back it up. Okay. And when they stomp a mud hole through Arsenal's ass, best believe I'm texting you all night. I'm not going to have the same restraint as Bagels. I'm texting
all
you all
night.
day.
It's at 11:30 in the morning, Shane.
And I'm texting you all day through the night. I'm there. 12 a.m.
I do know. I do.
Getting a picture of Christian Pulisic.
I do know how to block numbers.
1:30 a.m. You're getting a picture of me and Christian Pulisic.
Oh, that's a little scary.
Cropped together into one photo.
Yeah.
Loser gets the team's logo tatted on their ass.
Ooh, that's a good loser's bet.
I'll pay for it.
Andy Bailey Wood said,
Shane, are you feeling okay? Because I
accidentally stop at Taco Bell.
I just had gourmet days for dinner. I had a Reuben with mac and cheese and some chili cheese fries. So I'm okay. I'm not stopping at Taco Bell.
But anyways, moving forward, we do have a quick mailbag this week. It is from @HT_betting on Twitter. It says, you guys talked about the Chicago Bulls signings last week. What are your thoughts on the Lakers? You think trading for Russ and getting Melo, Howard, and Ariza is enough for them to compete in the West? Ken, I'll go ahead and start with you.
Me? Yeah, let's do it. I actually, I don't know if this is the contrary opinion, but I do think it's enough. I actually really like the moves. We saw what the West was this year. It was blown wide open. There wasn't really a front runner that wanted to take the crown after the Lakers weren't ready to steamroll the West. Everybody's kind of expecting the Warriors to make this comeback, but I kind of like the star power that the Lakers have in front of them. And obviously it's not just LeBron and AD, but I think Russ gets a lot of disrespect, maybe not so much deservingly so, because I think he really played his ass off for the Wizards down the stretch last year. And frankly, they will benefit from having a point guard that's willing to shoot and willing to shoot a lot, and that's what Westbrook is, because LeBron doesn't always want to shoot all nights. In fact, he wants to, I think, ride the bench some nights and take some nights off, and we know AD is going to miss his time. The question is this still a team that can win when LeBron and AD are out of the lineup? And that I'm not sold of. I'm not convinced of that at all. So if any one of those two guys is hurt when this comes to the playoffs next year, this train doesn't leave the station, in my opinion. It needs to be all three of them for them to really make a difference. And frankly, Westbrook might not make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things if LeBron and AD are both healthy. But there's a lot of guys that they brought in that have helped. Kendrick Nunn, I think, is a very undervalued point guard. Anthony and Ariza, kind of like nice foils to one another. They're working on Isaiah Thomas. They're working on Darren Collison. I think, like I said, I'm not convinced that they're going to stay above water, though, if one of those two big guns goes down and LeBron's getting up there in age. But if Russ is hampered or not ready to go, I think the Lakers can still survive, but they're not going to survive without LeBron James. That much is for sure. But the Russ trade's a good one. I think the Russ trade's a good one. I think the rest of the moves have been pretty solid, and I think they're doing what they can to certainly get back to the finals.
I've always been a big Trevor Ariza fan. I think Ariza off the bench is actually a great move. It's a big signing. I think Russ is another big signing for the Lakers, or not trade, however they got him. Trade.
Yeah. I mean, people like to say Russ is a little bit of a dumpster fire, and I find that to be kind of unfair because everybody was willing to ride the Brooklyn Nets all the way to the finals, and they had James Harden, who I would argue is just if not more of a dumpster fire than Russell Westbrook ever has been. And if they're willing to say that the Nets can win with KD and Harden, I don't see why the Lakers can't win with LeBron and Russ when AD is there and Kyrie is there. I think the Lakers are pretty loaded, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think Russ is actually a pretty good complement to LeBron and AD. He's kind of ball dominant, which is what LeBron is as well. But lately, we've seen LeBron kind of be able to give up that ball dominant torch. So I think it kind of works out. Russ can score. He can fill up a stat sheet. He's a great rebounder. Definitely has a good eye for a good assist. So I'm interested to see kind of how he pairs with LeBron. Bagels, what are your thoughts?
Ken, I think you really nailed it on the head with, pretty much the Lakers being healthy this season. I mean, LeBron James only played 45 games and AD only had 36. And combined, like when they were both playing, they're 19-8. LeBron was 30-15 when he played, and Anthony Davis was 23-13 when he played in a game. So really, when you're looking at the 2021 stats, 6 of their 13 players averaged over 10 points a game. I think adding a Russ, a Melo, a Ariza, if these guys do stay injured or it lingers throughout the season, you're going to have this talent that's going to be able to pick up the slack in games where you're looking at a Caruso to pick up the points or, someone else on the squad. So I definitely feel like the pickups are going to make them more competitive. As for like kind of the dumpster fire that you were talking about, Ken, I see what happens when it comes to Russell Westbrook being a dumpster fire. But again, this guy is averaging a triple-double for the last 3 seasons. And then on the other hand, I guess when you're talking about Kevin Durant, right now I would think he's the best player in the world. So, I mean, could Russell Westbrook this season be the best player in the league? Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely agree. So we appreciate the question from @HT_betting on Twitter. It seems like everyone likes the Lakers' chance this year that are on this panel. So yeah, overall good trade. Um, Moving forward, Ken, we're gonna get into something that you and I love, and that
Oh
is
man.
the Challenge 37. It'll be quick. We're just gonna recap Week 1. Ken, we saw CT. We saw CT in great shape, actually. Best shape I've seen him in a long time.
Yeah.
We've got
Quiet,
Kyle,
too.
Evan, Tori's back, Fessie's back, Casey's back. You've got some decent rookies. You've got your boy, who people compared you to in our game of Survivor, Tommy. We got Michelle Fitzgerald. We got Michaela Bradshaw. We've got some people from overseas that I've never heard of. We've got Corey Lay from 12 Dates of Christmas. Jeremiah White. What are your
Some dude from
thoughts?
the Circle showed up last week too.
Yeah, or was it Ed
Ed Easton
Easton
or
or
something.
something like
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
What are your thoughts of this cast and maybe a prediction going forward?
I think the cast is really strong. I think the theme's a little lame, and I think they kind of just rehashed what they did last season, to be honest with you. Which is a little lazy, but overall, I think the cast is very strong. I think it remains to be seen, but I really like, not to give away any spoilers, but there was this sort of alliance being tossed around during the first episode that I thought really was promising to the outcome of the season, because I've been watching this for 37 seasons, and I don't think I've ever seen this alliance approach be done successfully. So it was really intriguing to me, something I'm really going to look out for and something I'm going to be rooting for. In terms of what Shane said, I think there's going to be some dark horse front runners here for this season. I like the edits you're seeing from the guys like Devin Walker and Amanda Garcia and some of these other people that have never won before, but are sort of taking the reins and leading the house, while the likes of CT are sort of lying more in the back and playing under the radar. So it's a little bit of an interesting dynamic, a little bit different, and I'm really interested to see it play out. Looks like it's going to be a really good season. I'm 100% here for this alliance that I mentioned that you guys should check out, especially if you've watched the show before. Looks like it's going to be a banger. I have no doubt. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I mean we're seeing a pretty CT or new age CT approach. Again, this season where he kind of sits back and is the politician. It looks like he's going to play off the rookies and the vets. So it'll be pretty similar to what we saw last season, which he won. So I mean, why rock the boat? Why mess up the formula? It worked once. Give it another go. But I am really enjoying Devin so far. I'm enjoying Kyle. I always enjoy Kyle. I think he's great. I texted Ken when I watched the episode last Thursday, and I said I was really enjoying Amanda, which is new because I've always hated Amanda.
Yeah, she's like the demon spawn, right? She has been the worst for a long time, but
she's a smoke show, but she's like
she had a really good episode, and she had a kid, so she's got that new mom mentality, which has kind of made her like super strong, super fierce, and really kind of enjoyable. I thought it was a strong episode.
I think I'm starting to like Nelson too, which is weird.
Oh no, I do. I totally like him. He won me over after the thing he did for Corey 2 seasons ago. So I'm all about him. I'm pulling for Nelson actually. I would not mind seeing him.
Michelle Fitzgerald seems like someone I'm gonna like again. I think she's taking a very Survivor-esque approach, where she's gonna try and lay under the radar, I guess, a little bit and kind of play the sexuality card, which is fine. I mean, it's a good card to play, especially in a house full of people that you're not familiar with.
Right.
Give it a shot. She's a strong female, so if these female competitors aren't careful, she could definitely take it to the end. I think she is probably my low-key sleeper this season of someone that could take it to the end if she's not watched.
I could see it. Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about Tommy, just from a guy's perspective. I think he knows what he's doing. He's got that mentality. He knows how to run a house with a social game. And that's what I think he's going to be able to do here if he can play his cards right. And if his physical ability lives up.
I know you follow Wes Bergman on Instagram. Have you seen all the stuff he's been posting about Tommy? It's hilarious.
No, I haven't.
So it's like memes about like MTV can't get Wes, so they put Tommy. Tommy's the new age Wes, and then it's like different products like they put like Wes's name on Clorox, and then it's like a store brand Clorox. Tommy's name's on it.
Oh yes, okay.
So
I
it's
see what
like,
he's doing there.
yeah, he's egging it on. Maybe we see a Wes return eventually with Tommy. I think that'd be fun. I think there would be a pretty fun alliance in that one. But yeah, if you haven't seen the Challenge 37, it airs every Wednesday. If you have on demand, you can watch the episodes. It is great. I definitely recommend it if you like those kind of shows. Give it a shot. Ken and I will sneak in recaps once in a while. Maybe you'll see us do a show. I know we've got some kind of Survivor stuff cooking up, so you never know what could happen.
Oh yeah, that's for true. The Survivor.
But moving on, we've got the NL East race. The Braves just actually took over first place, sole possession. Ken, does that have to do with your boy Jorge Soler?
Not the last week, because he's right back in a shitty ass slump like he was before he got traded there. So I don't think he contributed much this past week necessarily. But I mean, the Mets are free falling a little bit there, and Phillies and Braves, they're on the up. And I think it was interesting because if you listen to what they say, or what the projections say, they got these three teams finishing with 85, 84, and 83 wins. That leaves a very, very small margin of error for these teams. And if you take a look at the games that are remaining, or what they would classify as a gimme game, you have the Phillies with 13 of those, the Mets with 8, and the Braves with 6. So those are what they would call, I guess, locked wins, or wins that you should win. You should win 80% of those games. And what they're saying is if the Braves and the Phillies win their 80% of those gimme games, they're going to make the playoffs, or at least be 1 and 2 in the division, and the Mets are going to be out no matter what they do. And I kind of think that's how it's going to go, because those gimme games are the Nationals, they're the Orioles, they're the Cubs, they're the Pirates, they're the dumpster fires. They're the teams that sold at the deadline, and the teams that have been terrible all year. So if those Braves and those Braves and those Phils can stay at that 80% win clip against those gimme teams, it's going to be really, really tough for the Mets to sneak their way back into this. And I don't see it happening.
Yeah. So I do want to give a little shout out to Dansby Swanson, who has been on fire lately. I had no idea until Andy texted me the other day and said that he could be a candidate for 30 home runs this season, or he should be. I had no idea he was hitting 264, 24 homers, and 72 RBIs this season. That's insane. That's living up to his I would say it's living up to his first overall pick height. And the reason that the Braves brought him in, he's having a career season. I think you've got to credit a lot of their success to him. At one point this past weekend, he had 3 homers in 2 games. So he's just mashing the ball right now. I think Swanson is going to be the reason the Braves get in the playoffs and probably win the division. I know you've got the Phillies with the gimme games. I still think the Braves are going to find a way. I just think they're a bit more polished. I like Snit a lot more manager wise. So I think I think they're going to get there, and they're going to win the division and be in the playoffs. Bagels, do you have an opinion on this one?
I think it's just going to come down to the Mets not making an impact at all. I think every time I turn on SportsCenter or something, it's something about the Mets not hitting with runners in scoring positions. So that's really what I looked into. And they're hitting 235 with runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Now, it could be better with no outs, right? But you're still an overall team batting 235. So you can have the best pitcher in the game with DeGrom, but he's only going to, give you that much pitching for 1 game every 5 days at the minimum. And really, it's just going to be on the Mets. Just absolutely, I feel like they're just going to fall apart because, their last 10, I think they were 5-5 or less than that. But, I don't know what's going on with the Mets. Having signed Frankie Lindor, it's not working for them.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Francisco Lindor. Ken, do you just think he can't handle the New York media? Is it one of those things.
But when you remember when he first got called up, and he wasn't even like, so as the fantasy baseball mind, so we're playing fantasy baseball, right? Francisco Lindor gets called up. He's a prospect. Nobody goes and adds him. Why does nobody add him? Well, nobody adds him because he's not supposed to be this elite top hitting prospect. He was a defensive guy. He was a glove. He was that type of prospect. And that was all he was supposed to be. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes up and he's mashing week after week. And everybody's adding him. And all of a sudden, his ownership's going up. And then weeks turned into months turned into seasons. And the entire time he was in Cleveland, he was an absolute masher the entire time. Now, where does he go? He goes out to the New York Mets, a big park. That's a big park that's tough to mash in. And now he can't mash anymore. And I think, I don't know. I think maybe it caught up to him a little bit. I don't want to say that it was only because he was in Cleveland, but I don't think he's as good as he was thought of. Like, I don't think he's Bo Bichette or Xander Bogaerts, or I don't think he's a front-end shortstop top 3 in the league he's in. I don't think he's even, frankly, an all-star in most seasons. And I think Shane's going to disagree with me because Shane has been historically a big Lindor fan, so I might have pissed him off a little bit there, but I don't know. I'm not sold on him anymore, I feel.
So I do like Lindor, right? I don't hide my fandom for him. I think he's a great shortstop, and I honestly thought he was a great addition to the Mets. I don't think he was super overpaid, maybe a little overpaid, but the stuff he did in Cleveland warranted the contract he got, I thought. I didn't think that his power would just completely tail off. Maybe he's more Edgar Renteria than he is, Alex Rodriguez, what people thought. And maybe he just can't handle the New York media. Maybe the power wasn't, maybe it was inflated by playing in Cleveland. I don't know Cleveland to be a huge, the only mashers we've ever really seen in Cleveland were Carlos Santana and Travis Hafner and Grady Sizemore for a season or two.
Jim
Otherwise, and Jim Thome, yes.
Well, you better make sure.
But otherwise, they're not historically a mashing team. So I'm not sure. I think it's got a lot to do with the media. We saw it with Edgar Renteria when he came to Boston. He just couldn't handle it.
His highest OPS in the minors was 801. That was over 80 at bats. He never even had an 800 OPS in the minors.
Or he took steroids. I mean,
he never hit over 6 home runs in any season. Like, he just was never that guy. And then he got into the majors, and bada bing, bada boom.
Maybe he just found the weight room.
Then he's got 2 years where he hits over 30 balls.
Steroids.
Or steroids.
I don't want to allude to anything, but
yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm a Lindor fan, and I'll still be a Lindor fan even though he's struggling. But I don't think he was the answer for the Mets. Maybe they look to move him in the offseason because they've got Javier Baez that they can slide back over to short, who doesn't want to play short. He wants to play second. They do have Ronnie Mauricio in the minors, so they could just move Lindor. Maybe push Mauricio if he's ready.
They're so slow, though.
I guess, Shane, would you rather have Javi Baez as your starting shortstop or Francisco Lindor? Pre this season, I guess.
I mean, if it's pre this slump, I want Lindor. I want what he did in Cleveland. But if it's what I'm watching now, I want Baez.
I don't know. A slump is only a slump if it breaks out of it.
Well, he did break out of it for that weekend series where he hit like 3 homers.
Weekend series.
But then he went back into the slump. So, I mean, it's a bad season. Maybe he's injured. Maybe we don't know he's playing injured.
I don't know, Shane. You can make as many excuses for him as you
and
like.
And that's the thing. I don't want to make excuses. I honestly think maybe it's Edgar Renteria syndrome. We saw it in Boston with Renteria.
I like that.
Renteria just could not play in Boston. We traded him to the Braves, and he was great again.
Yep. Fun story. I bought his shirt the day he was traded to Boston. Or no, I'm sorry, not the day, but I bought his shirt, and then the day I wore it to a game in Boston, he had a different number. Changed his number that day. Never will forget that asshole for that.
So maybe we see Lindor go to a small market team again, and maybe that's just where he vibes. Some players just can't handle the big markets, and that's okay. They just move to a smaller market, and then they get back on track. Or he's obviously got the yips, right?
He does have the yips, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. Those are a deadly disease.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what the yips did to Rick Ankiel, so. But moving forward, we're going to talk about the AL wild card race. Oakland, Boston, Toronto, New York. Very tight. Oakland and Boston are tied at the top. New York's a game back, and Toronto's 4 games back. And I'm even willing to throw Seattle in there, who's only 5 games back. Do we think that the Yankees are going to maybe overtake Boston, or do we think Sale is enough to keep Boston in the second wild card spot? Ken, we'll start with you.
They're about to lose the series to the Yankees already, aren't they?
They did lose the first game.
And they're down 2-0 at the end of the 5th right now. So,
oh, nice.
They, man, you know, I felt good after Chris Sale came back and Schwarber was 3 for 9 and all that good stuff. But then I remembered they were playing Baltimore, and I'm kind of peeved because there was a way to bring Chris Sale back to line him up to face the Yankees and the Rays. And instead, you brought him back to face the Orioles and the Rangers. So you really gave him an extended rehab, in my opinion, because you don't need Chris Sale for the Rangers and the Orioles. You need him for the Yankees and the Rays. And that is why you brought him back, right? You rushed him back so that we could contend and win. No, not according to what this team, what this management is selling to this team, which is that we don't believe in you. So I am still a little skeptical that the Red Sox are going to pull this out. They are about to lose to the Yankees, lose the series to the Yankees. If this score holds up, they'll blow this one too. And it's, you know, after this weekend series, I had a good feeling. Schwarber looked the part, I guess, to start. I still was skeptical whether he could play first base, but you had the leadership of Sale, who was just absolutely nails. You had the prowess and coach of the year-like mentality of Alex Cora, but without management buying in and addressing these holes, I'm not sure it's enough. I still think it's enough it should be enough to beat the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees just added left-handed bats and Andrew Heaney. I'm not really sold on what the Yankees did either. I am sold on what Toronto did, and they're a team that scares the shit out of me as a Red Sox fan. I think Oakland's going to get in there. And I say that because they're going to avoid this blood fight, steel cage match of the AL East that's going on. I do think the A's are built for a postseason run. I think they're going to be there. And I'm a little scared of Toronto because this is an offense that was on fire. Springer's getting healthy. Springer, I think he's back now. He's healthy. And then you got Berrios. They added front-end ace potential to their rotation. And Brad Hand, who is a stud at the back of the rotation. They addressed all their holes in the perfect way to go with their already red-hot lineup, and I would not be surprised if this was Toronto-Oakland, but I still think the Yankees are the team out, and I think it is going to come down to the Red Sox and the Jays for that second spot. And I think the A's are going to take one, honestly.
Yeah, I am super scared of Toronto, like you said. I think Toronto is probably the team that I see most likely to get in. There's no way that they don't get in my opinion. They have well, they're 4 games back, right? But I think with Berrios, Manoah, adding Brad Hand, that offense, if it stays healthy, George Springer just adds another layer, right? So you've got Bo Bichette, George Springer, Vladdy, Kevin Biggio can get hot. Lourdes Gurriel, I know I butchered that, but they've just got so much. I think that's a scary team in the playoffs. And that's a team I wouldn't want to face, especially in a one-game play-in like the wild card. So
I agree.
So I mean, it's weird. I want obviously as a fan of me, I want the Red Sox to make the playoffs. I just don't think it's possible with the additions the Yankees made and the additions that Toronto made. It's just so tough that our boy Chaim didn't do anything. So other than that, Schwarber. And Schwarber's a great bat, but we needed to add pitching, and it didn't happen.
He's not a savior. He's what they were hoping for was that they got that Steve Pearce, Orlando Cabrera, Doug Minkiewicz magic. Maybe it'll be there, but I think banking on that is dangerous.
He just can't pitch. That's the thing. If he could pitch, then it'd be good.
That's what we said. I mean, we get all these guys who are way overperforming and approaching career highs, and your answer to help them is a guy who's coming back from Tommy John surgery. As amazing as he is, he's still coming back from Tommy John surgery. And frankly, I think you're babying him because I think you're extending his rehab by putting him in this position that you're putting him in. And if you really believed in it and you really believed in the team, you would have put him against the Yankees and you would have put him against the Rays and you would have seen how it went. But you're not doing that. I don't think you want to rock the boat too hard here. I just think they play a nonchalant style of management. They're very don't rock the boat, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Maybe they're thinking more, next year than this year. But I think this year was a good chance to possibly push the chips all in and see what happens.
I did hear something that they're projected to leap back into the top 10 in terms of farm systems next year, which I guess is a good thing. I wasn't expecting that so soon, but I think Tristan Casas has really helps that out.
Oh, yeah, he was great in the Olympics. Yeah. Nick York has been awesome.
York
has been very good. And then obviously getting Marcelo in the draft is huge. So.
Yeah, they were saying the Red Sox should be back in the top 10 next year. Obviously, Duran falls out, but the rest stay there.
Yeah. Bagels, you got to think, you thinking Toronto, New York, or Boston get that final spot, assuming Oakland continues pace?
Muted. He's muted.
You're muted, Bagels.
I got Toronto. I think a couple my first time on here, we had like a World Series updated prediction, and I was gonna say it's gonna come out of the NL West or it's gonna come out of the AL East. I think with the way the Red Sox performed throughout the year without Chris Sale leading the division, being so many games out of the being in the wild card right now, with that addition of Chris Sale and Kyle Schwarber, maybe that keeps them in the race. But as Ken alluded to, the fear of Toronto that has a plus 127 run differential. I mean, if they could figure out their pitching, this team is going to go toe-to-toe with the Bronx Bombers, or they'll go toe-to-toe with the Red Sox or anyone that's putting up, honestly, 4 or 5 runs a game plus. But I definitely, I wouldn't be surprised if the Red Sox fall out and it's Yankees, Toronto taking that final spot.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to see it just to see the Discord freak out about, just the Red Sox not making the postseason. I would love that.
Oh, that'll come.
I think some of the realists like Ken, myself, Liam won't be as shocked because there weren't moves made, and we were all talking about how something should have been done to address pitching, but you never know. Moving into our NFL segment, I do want to start with something that's not on the script tonight. I just saw it myself. Chase Claypool actually got hurt at the end of Steelers practice today with an ankle injury. They're saying that it's just minor. It's a low ankle sprain. But Bagels, playing football, you know how sprains work. This could be lingering. What are your thoughts?
Dude, anytime ankles and football get mixed together, and basketball too, they're gonna linger. But I think it won't be as devastating as an impact that say like an Antonio Brown sprains an ankle, because Chase Claypool's got that Megatron frame. Like, you could just have him run go routes all day long and just jump and catch the ball. But I think, with the rookie season he had, this almost goes back to Justin Jefferson. They're going to take their time when it comes to this, maybe not even see any more preseason until maybe the last week. But yeah, man, ankle injuries they scare me a lot when it comes to kind of, making those cuts, making those plans and all that. So, but
they really should be patient though, don't rush them back, because they have an over surplus at that position, and frankly, they've like relegated and banished Juju Smith-Schuster to the slot realm, and like refused to throw him anything more than 10 yards down the field. Like, let Claypool heal up and let Juju play some outside receiver and let the poor kid make some money in the offseason.
Yeah, and also I think it was James Washington that was requesting a trade because he wasn't getting the ball enough. Well, here's your
put him in the slot. We're all good.
Yeah, there you go. And you don't have to worry about losing another wide receiver.
And I just want to point on Ken's point with Juju. I don't understand why the last season or two he's been in this slot realm where he's only getting 10-yard routes.
Because Claypool and Deontay can't play in the slot, and Deontay has friggin' the worst hands of any receiver in the league.
It's just Juju was so electric his rookie year. He could take him deep. He can run every route. He should really get paid like a true number one in the offseason.
I think he started though opposite Antonio Brown, so he wasn't stuck in the slot.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, that's true. And honestly, I don't understand why Deontay gets this big love affair over James Washington. I think James Washington's a better receiver.
I was always confused. I don't know where this Deontay fanfare came from because he's solid. I don't think I've ever really seen him be amazing, have we, for like a prolonged period of time?
No, because anytime he'll put together one good game and then get hurt the next.
Yeah, he's very streaky. I mean, I just feel like he's that guy that
I know I feel like this is gonna summon Vig back onto the show because we're talking junk about the Steelers.
I'm hyping his boy Juju. Juju's
the man.
If Chase Claypool goes down, the Steelers are having a losing season. So
you think?
First, no.
I do think Claypool is a big component to that team being successful. I think Najee Harris, the addition of Najee Harris is huge. I think he's going to be great, but Claypool definitely is going to be the person that pushes that receiver room. But Juju is better than the role that he's in right now. If Juju had gone to the Ravens in the offseason when he had a chance, I think he would be amazing with Lamar.
I thought it was Andy Reid who wanted him to start opposite Tyreek Hill.
Which would be
I don't know why that fell apart.
Could you imagine that in KC?
Yeah, I don't know why that fell apart. Maybe it'll happen next year.
He's an unrestricted free agent in the offseason.
I know, and I drafted him in our dynasty league, so I'm holding out hope that he joins Patty Mahomes next year.
I think,
like I said, Penn drafted the entire Chiefs
quarterback. He'll be good.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw the year that his rookie year was probably his best year, and it might be Ben's best statistical year he's had in a long time.
Really good. Yeah,
and so we see what he can do with an elite quarterback. So if he's with Patty, oh God, it's scary, scary thoughts.
Who else?
Go ahead.
I got another name for you. So I hyped him in our dynasty draft a lot too, but when you look at what's going on in New Orleans right now with the quarterback position and the Taysom Hill versus what?
You're talking about Little Jordan?
No, Marquez Callaway is the name anymore. Not Little Jordan Humphrey. Somebody unfortunately named their child Little Jordan Humphrey, and you got Kawan Smith, a 6th-round pick, and you got Traquan Smith. I'm sorry, stop trying to make Traquan Smith a thing. It's not going to happen. Michael Thomas is toast, and they got Ty Montgomery running wide receiver routes. They are barren out there. And Marquez Callaway looked the part last year in limited action when Thomas was hurt. I think he had a couple 10-point PPR games in fantasy. And he had a really good opener first preseason game. I think he's going to be the Saints' #1 receiver this year. And I think he's free in fantasy drafts, but he's another name I really think to look out for.
If we're going totally off the tracks here, and we're talking sleepers, let's talk Nico Collins of Houston.
Oh well,
I think Nico is, even in redraft, he's worth a shot. He's the only competent receiver down there other than Cooks. Big frame, played good in college, was always good in college, played with subpar quarterback play, so he's obviously used to playing with subpar quarterback play, so Houston's not that big of a deal. If Deshaun comes back and is exonerated, which I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, you're looking at possibly a 1,300-yard receiver, maybe. He's going to be one of Deshaun's favorite targets because he's so big and he can run fast.
Yeah. Another one to look out, actually, if you can muster it, look at that Los Angeles Rams running game too, because I've been noticing that they never replaced Cam Akers. They didn't bring in a guy, and they have been very vocal about not wanting to reunite with Todd Gurley. They're going to really rely on Darrell Henderson, in my opinion, and he's not a guy who might be able to handle a 300-touch workload. So look at some of those young guys, Xavier Jones and Jake Funk. Yeah, those are real guys. Check them out. They're having really nice camps. Jake Funk sounds like the type of guy who's going to have a good NFL career. And Xavier Jones is actually a kid who has very much impressed in limited time, and he's moving up the depth chart. I think he might be the direct backup to Henderson now. And this is a team that really likes to hammer the rock. They will always run the football. It's part of McVay's blood. He's not going to ever get away from that, and they're going to use who they have, and they have a good line, and they have a better quarterback now than they've had before. So I'm liking the Rams running game.
I love listening to Ken deep dive on players because I would do that for his keeper league, and I would draft players like Dare Ogunawambole or whatever, however you say it.
Dare Ogunbowale.
Yeah, and I would get toasted by all of them.
It was a 15-round draft, Shane. This is like 28 rounds.
Yeah, I know, but I still like that you're deep diving. It makes me feel good inside.
Also, a tribute to Viggy, who's not here. His backup quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, looked good, and that is a good thing in case Big Ben gets hurt. Dwayne Haskins looked really good against Philadelphia, 72.1% completion, 160 yards and a touchdown. Really good action for him.
So this is a good segue. Bagels, you're an Ohio State guy.
Yeah.
Can Dwayne Haskins cut it in the league, or do you think he might find a spot with Pittsburgh?
Yeah, if he can keep his off the field issues, separate from the field. Like I go back to it, it's like, did he, like, I forget who was Alex Smith. They got rid of Alex Smith, or Alex Smith was the quarterback. You had that leadership in the locker room, and you couldn't take anything away from that guy. Focus on the team. And I think Ben Roethlisberger, being there, he will provide that. And who's your competitor at that point? Mason Rudolph.
Yep.
Like, us Cleveland Browns fans would love to have Mason Rudolph make as many appearances in the stadium as possible, given that fight that took place 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago?
But this, sorry.
But yeah, I think Dwayne Haskins can cut it. I think we saw it in college where he has this tremendous arm. I just think, again, back to his rookie season, he was rushed. And
they want to play Roethlisberger this year, right? They're going to play Roethlisberger this year. There's no doubt about it. And Mason Rudolph might be the backup. But Haskins has a window here. There's an opportunity. You don't have a heir apparent, and it's not Rudolph. I don't think Rudolph's very good. I think everybody knows that. And I think if Ben gets hurt, it could be Rudolph. It could be Haskins. That's not really what's important. It's what happens when Ben's not here, because that is a 20-plus year franchise Super Bowl winning quarterback that's walking out the door. It's going to be open competition at that point. And Haskins has a chance to prove right now that they don't need to draft anybody.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's like,
how great would that be?
All kind of know what Mason.
They don't have to waste a top pick to get a quarterback.
Yeah, they got him for free. All he has to do is screw his head on straight. He was a first-round pick for a reason.
Yeah, well, they signed him to like a 2 or 3 year deal, and it was pretty team-friendly too. So,
yeah.
So they'll have tons of cap if Roethlisberger hangs it up after this year.
Haskins has the ability to be the next starting quarterback of the Steelers franchise if he, head screwed on straight, performs well enough to outbeat Mason Rudolph, or he just becomes this journeyman as a backup third-string quarterback for all these other teams. I think maybe if he realizes that during this preseason, hey, I had a great game one, got 2 more games. Like, this is what I want to be. I want to learn under Ben Roethlisberger for the year I have him, mm-hmm. 2 years I have him, and I'll fill the role when I'm a 4th-year veteran. So,
yeah, I like it, and I think that's a good approach with Haskins. I thought him coming into the league, that's the approach you should have taken with him because he was still really young.
Yeah.
He had only started 1 year for Ohio State.
He would have benefited from having
he-
some Fitzmagic there now, as opposed to Fitzmagic being there this year. I think having Fitzpatrick maybe just not rushing him in and letting who was it, Alex Smith play.
I
If
just
Alex
don't think
was good.
who was the coach that drafted Haskins. It was
Was
Gruden.
it Rivera?
It was Gruden.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
'cause it was. Yeah, wasn't there like a huge like?
It
was
was
Gruden and
fake
Rivera
Gruden.
took over and hated him, right?
Yeah, like they Gruden drafted him, and then Rivera was like.
Oh, Gruden didn't even want him. Who was the other quarterback that was taken in that draft? Because it was. Give me a second. It was Wayne Haskins draft.
Do 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 do.
It was a 2019 draft, right? Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was the Daniel Jones.
Yeah, that's who Gruden wanted. Gruden wanted Daniel Jones. He didn't want Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah,
So,
Haskins went 15, Jones went 6.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe it does stand to reason because the only other, Drew Lock was in that class, but it was a very shallow class for quarterbacks. So they reached on Haskins, and that's maybe not who they wanted. To your point.
Yeah. So he went into a bad situation, in my opinion, and I think him sitting behind a future Hall of Fame quarterback is exactly what he needs. He just needs to keep his off the field issues to himself, right?
Yeah.
I will preface this: Ohio State is not known for putting NFL caliber.
Troy Smith was great.
NFL caliber what?
Troy Smith was a great college quarterback. I don't think maybe he got enough opportunities in the NFL, but track record wise,
you just put one. You're putting one on the field this year that's about to take over the NFL. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm saying it's going to start with Justin Fields.
Well, that's a Georgia. That's a Georgia with Justin Fields. So.
What?
That's a Georgia quarterback. So.
Oh wow! Wow.
Then you can say that Trevor Lawrence was.
It's like calling Jalen Hurts a Alabama quarterback.
Yeah.
I just want to talk real quick about another. Well, we're going to talk about two quarterbacks coming up. First one though is on the defending Super Bowl champs. Bruce Arians believes that Kyle Trask is the heir apparent to Tom Brady. He went 4 for 15 for 35 yards in his first preseason game. Do we think Kyle Trask is the heir apparent to Thomas Edward Brady in Tampa?
He could be. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a good heir apparent, but he might be the heir apparent. Let's not. I don't want to beat the kid up over his first preseason action, especially because I believe this isn't going to show up in the box score, but he had 2 really nice deep thrown balls that were drops. So you that turns it into a 6 for 15 for 100 yards. It's not a great day, but maybe it's better. It's still a little bit better. And he's a rookie in his first action. He was scrambling. He was overthrowing. He was rushing passes. He was taking sacks. These are all things that can be learned. It's a learning curve. Tommy had this 20 years ago. And if you expected the heir apparent to Tom Brady to come in and be game ready, then he wouldn't have fallen to the Bucs when they picked him. This is obviously a project, and I think that's okay. Nobody wants this kid to play. If this kid plays this year, something has gone horribly wrong, and nobody wants that to happen. People want to see if this team can repeat. We haven't seen a repeat, and Trask is going to learn over the next 1, 2, 3, 50 years that Tom Brady's still playing football. I don't know, but as long as Tom's playing, he's going to start. And maybe this kid will learn under him. And maybe Tom was like, yeah, I'll take this kid because he sucks and he's not as game ready as Garoppolo is. And Tom doesn't care. He's not threatened by him in the same way he was in New England with Jimmy G. I don't know. That remains to be seen. But I don't think you can rule the kid out. I just think he's going to have to learn. He's definitely a project.
I really did like Trask at UF. I thought him and Kyle Pitts were pretty electric together. Obviously, Kyle Pitts is, an animal. Different breed. But I did like Trask. I thought he was pretty good at UF. I think he's obviously not going to push Brady for anything. He's not Jimmy G. Maybe he is the heir apparent. Maybe he'll be great. I'm not sure. Bagels, do you have any opinion on Trask?
I love when people are like talking about the heir apparents because, I mean, yeah, you draft this guy to hopefully come in and replace probably or the greatest, second greatest. I'll say Peyton Manning's the greatest, second greatest quarterback of all time. But yeah,
Whoa.
Oh, am I stepping on New England toes right now? I'm sorry.
The second greatest? I think you meant Tom Brady's the greatest.
I'll say the sheriff is. Yeah. Do you have to Google who the sheriff is, Ken?
Oh.
Okay. Well, yes, rings.
I'm questioning your.
How many MVPs does Tom Brady have?
I'm questioning your integrity now.
Questioning the integrity.
Okay, so this is definitely going to get off the rails here for a second.
Oh, we're going off rails right now.
Are we? So MVPs really don't mean anything to me in terms of greatest of all time. We're talking Super Bowls. Super Bowls are what matters. Super Bowls are what gets you paid. Super Bowls are what you're judged on. We're talking about the Steelers as the greatest franchise ever. The Steelers and the Cowboys because they're tied for the most Super Bowl wins. But I'm pretty sure Brady is tied with them too. No, Brady has more, doesn't he?
Yeah, but didn't Tom Brady have Adam Vinatieri kicking, the game winning?
Oh, come on.
So did Peyton.
Wasn't there a tuck rule somewhere along the way too? Wasn't there a tuck rule along the way as well?
Oh, you're one of those tuck rule guys.
Oh God!
Didn't Adam Vinatieri kick for Peyton too?
Didn't Peyton have Mike Vanderjagt for a long time, who was considered the greatest kicker of all time before Vinatieri?
What I'm saying right now,
you're gonna watch
most valuable players, MVPs. Who has more?
Who's got more Super Bowls?
I mean, are you counting MVPs like Super Bowls are a team MVPs? Let's add them up.
Isn't the motto offense wins you games, defense wins you championships?
Oh, you've never watched some of the Patriot teams that won the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, because at the time I hated the Patriots because they kept beating the Colts.
Yeah, what about like 51? Did you watch that game and you still have the audacity to say Tom Brady isn't the greatest of all time?
I mean, we could cross that when he ends his career. I mean,
but how many? Okay, so how many MVPs does Manning have?
5.
Okay, I think Brady has 3.
And plus, not counting his Super Bowl MVPs either.
Yeah, how many Super Bowl MVPs does Manning have?
I think 2.
I think he got the 1.
I think he's got 1.
Did he give?
I think Von Miller got that, didn't he?
In 50?
Yeah, Von Miller got the one in Denver.
And then they gave him a pity one. They gave him a pity one on the Colts because he was terrible, and he basically rode like who was it, Dominic Rhodes and whoever the other running back was.
They played Rex fucking Grossman.
Oh yeah, okay, okay.
The Bears' defense that season was amazing.
Yeah,
but their offense was shit. If they had any other quarterback, I think they beat the Colts.
Yeah, but they didn't.
It's true. They rode Joseph Adai and Dominic Rhodes had like 200 yards rushing and a couple of touchdowns, and that's pretty much.
Devin Hester could have beaten the Colts if he was allowed to play quarterback that season. I
clearly said the wrong thing on this podcast, and I understand if I'm not invited back, but I'm gonna stick to it, boys. How about this? Next time I'm on, I'll have a better presentation.
Let's add up. But first, let's just add up NFL season MVPs and Super Bowl MVPs and see who has more.
Okay. All right. So Super Bowl MVPs.
Manning's got 1 and
4 total. So Brady's got how many NFL MVPs? 2 or 3? 2.
Oh, I think he's got 3, and then he's got 5. That's 8.
That's a lot. It's a lot of them.
God,
I'm running out of fingers. Right now. I'm running out of fingers. I'll have to get my toes up here in a minute.
Yeah, where Brady's gonna get his next Super Bowl ring fitted is on his.
Oh, that could happen this year. I know he has. Really? And Peyton just got inducted. Tom's still winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Did you see the meme where it was like Peyton had a really big forehead, his like bust in the?
Yeah, I did that.
That always
I love
cracks
the
me
photo
up.
of his like freshman year at Tennessee on how small his forehead is versus like when he retired how wide it is or tall it was. Like that.
did,
But
cramming
to be
all that
fair,
playbook knowledge.
those are probably two of the best quarterbacks we'll ever see play. So I will give it that. Brady's definitely – it's 1A, 1B. Brady's 1A. Manning can be 1B. But moving forward, I'll get back to something Bagels will love. We're going to talk about Ohio State again and Justin Fields and his amazing debut in Week 1. I know it's just preseason, but he was pretty damn good.
Yep.
Bagels, I'll let you lead it off.
So, yes, he had a great, a good first game. And I think where he stumbled was in the press conference when he said the game was very slow. Like it came, like the being out there was slow. And I was like, don't say that. And even like Tillman said on one of the radios said, like, he kind of put a target on his back. It was like, yeah, because you're playing probably the second and third string individuals. It should come a little slower, but when you're playing the starters, it's going to be a whole different world. But the thing I love most about this entire Chicago Bears offseason is bringing in Andy Dalton and Matt Nagy saying Andy Dalton's going to be the starting quarterback Week 1 for the Bears. Well, after the game, I'm going to read you this quote from Matt Nagy. I think Andy had 6 plays. It's hard to say much good or bad about that with 6 plays. And then goes on to say the only thing he can do, Justin Fields, is to continue doing that, and we have to make sure that the plan allows us to evaluate how well he does knowing those circumstances. Ultimately, in the end, whatever is best for the Chicago Bears is in the end what we're going to do. So Matt Nagy is hinting at the possibility of Jay Fields starting Week 1. And I think that
he's not stupid. If Justin Fields gives them the best chance to win, you've got to start him.
Definitely, but I think you can't. I think you got to continue with this Andy Dalton's being number 1 until Justin Fields comes out and proves to you for 3 preseason games that he should be the starting quarterback. So if that means more snaps for Andy Dalton in Week 2 for them, yeah, because it's 3 and then Steelers and Cowboys have 4. In the second game, you're like, yeah, maybe Andy Dalton's showing his last season in Cincinnati like he's absolute garbage. Then you come out and name him the starting quarterback.
You're looking menacing down there, petting your cat. I know you've got a rebuttal to this. Let's hear it.
I don't have a rebuttal. I actually think you play him right away because he's by far the best quarterback on the team, and he is by far your best shot at winning. And he's a future Hall of Famer, and he's pretty much taking over the league. And I saw enough in that one preseason game to anoint this guy as like league winner. Congratulations, Chicago! You finally figured it out. You got a quarterback. Like, this is great. Like, this kid is legitimate, man. He showed everything. I mean,
would you say my pick of Darnell Mooney was good then?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. He showed terrific pocket presence and command of the pocket, and when he scrambled, like he knew when to scramble. He scrambled efficiently and smartly and threw defenses off. Like those defenders, you could watch him were like completely lost in the middle as to whether he was going to throw or whether he was going to take off. Like it's kind of like he's like reminding me of like Lamar Jackson if Lamar could throw. But he doesn't obviously have that elusiveness. He's an absolute monster. It's like Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson had a baby, and this is now him making it to the NFL. And he's awesome. He's incredibly fast. He's got what I am not seeing. I mean, Trey Lance and Trevor Lawrence, both sky's the limit, amazing potential, but we don't know what Lance's ceiling really is yet because we have barely seen him play football. And Trevor Lawrence, I think, has got a lot to live up to, and he hasn't looked so great just yet. But Fields has shown it. And, one of these quarterbacks is going to be like a generational talent. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And I saw enough out of Justin Fields to know that Andy Dalton is not – and I love Andy Dalton, actually, more than most people do, but he's a backup now. And sitting Justin Fields, I think, is overthinking it. I mean,
Ken, I completely agree. I wasn't saying that Justin Fields shouldn't start Week 1. I was just ragging on Nagy for saying the whole offseason Andy Dalton's going to be 1, and then him kind of backtracking.
Oh, yeah. He watches him play once.
Yeah. I just think Fields has – Nagy said this in the draft process that Fields had the elite arm talent that the rest of the class didn't, even over Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
He said that Fields was the Hall of Fame quarterback in this class. And I mean, if you're saying that over Trevor Lawrence, I mean, you don't have the first pick, and he essentially knew Lawrence was going one, right? But I mean, if you're saying you're grouping Lawrence into that conversation, I mean, Nagy's the reason that Casey ended up with Patty Mahomes. So I trust his scout eye a bit. And he called Patty being what Patty is today. And if he made another correct call, maybe he's this QB whisperer that, we had no idea. He didn't draft Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh,
It was John Fox that drafted him.
Could you imagine?
I will say Justin Fields was one play away from beating Trevor Lawrence twice in the playoffs. And the only reason why we didn't go down on that final drive the year before last was because our wide receiver broke off the route. And that's why Justin Fields threw that just gross interception. So being a Buckeye fan, very biased. I'm going to.
I mean, you could see a Cam Newton rookie season out of Fields, and if you don't remember Cam Newton's rookie season, like, my God, it's like one of the best
Fields is
ever.
the total package, even more so than Lamar. I think Lamar and Kyler are great, but I think Fields is this. He's got a Patty type arm with Lamar wheels, and that's scary.
Yeah, and Cam's frame, like, it's just he's morphed into this super athlete.
So he could be you've got Patty, who's obviously going to be one of the faces of the NFL for many years, but you've got Justin Fields, who is this Patty frame with Lamar's speed and a Patty Cam arm, because Cam had a great arm coming out of college too. So he didn't have the talent that Fields has, but the arm talent that Fields has. But I mean, God dang. This kid could be something special. It's why I love Mac Jones in New England, don't get me wrong, but I would have loved for Belichick to move up to get Fields, and I know Ken feels the same way.
I do. Although Mac looked the part in the first game.
Mac looked good in the first game. So our Ask Around segment is just going to be one question this week. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be a roundtable-esque discussion. And then we're going to get into our ECBC stuff because I know Ken's got some amazing stuff coming up. So this week we're going to discuss Trevor Lawrence and Andrew Luck at this point in their career. So Andrew Luck coming out of college and Trevor Lawrence obviously where he is now. Ken, you alluded to a couple shows ago how Trevor Lawrence is the most hyped quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. Do you see a lot of Andrew Luck in Trevor Lawrence, or do you think Trevor Lawrence transcends what Luck was at this point?
I think the hype might transcend because Trevor Lawrence, at least to me, he's been hyped and he's been the number one overall pick since he was in high school. And that's not something that I think has ever happened before. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that was ever Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is like the GOAT prospect for me. I love the guy. Career ended too soon, but I was enamored with him. One of my favorite quarterbacks to ever watch play. So if Lawrence does live up to that, I mean, he's an NFL sweetheart for years to come. But if I remember correctly, Lawrence came in as a freshman. He was an 18-year-old true freshman. He turned 19. He was a full-time starter. He was ready to go. I don't think Andrew Luck was like that type of guy where he hit the ground running and he played all 4 years and at Stanford. But if I'm wrong, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Lawrence has been hyped since he was like in diapers, but more realistically, pretty much when he was in high school, as opposed to Luck, who was scouted and touted and wanted, but he was never like that surefire lock number one overall pick until the years at Stanford. But I mean, in terms of what they're able to do, look, they're both the cream of the crop as far as NFL quarterbacks go. They have that aura about them that you can't really see on a tape, or it's just more of like a feeling or a presence. Like both of these kids love football, and they had so much fun playing it at that age and at that time, and like the game was so slow to them and they understood it and nothing fazed them. There was no amount of pressure that they couldn't handle. And I see that with Lawrence. I saw it with Luck, and there was no quit. There was no quit in Luck. I remember it it was a Thursday night game in Foxborough. I forget the exact year, but Luck was getting annihilated by the Colts. They were down like 3 or 4 touchdowns at halftime, and they ended up losing still by 1 touchdown or so, but it was just such a great second half of football behind Andrew Luck, leading a parade of misfits that really had no business. And he just had that ability to command a locker room, and for that reason, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. If Lawrence can do that, to me, he's lived up to his hype and lived up to his name. But to me, that's a really big shoe to fill because you cannot teach that and you cannot watch that on film. You have to be able to command that in your locker room and be that leader. And I'm not saying he can't do it. For all I know, he very well can and will. But that's something that can't be taught. And I think, his talent is there. His arm is huge. He's super athletic. He's big. He's strong. He does everything right. He's got the legs. He's mobile. Everything that Andrew Luck can do. I mean, and frankly, he's probably more mobile than Andrew Luck. I would say Lawrence has got that sort of like straight line speed. You can just sprint down the field and make up ground quickly, whereas Andrew Luck was more fidgety and darting in and out and avoiding contact, almost like a Roethlisberger with some more speed than that. That's kind of how I see their differences and their similarities. I think they're both slam dunk talents. I think Lawrence is going to be a great quarterback. Whether he's really to transcend and be that NFL face of the league, I think will depend on his ability to command a locker room the same way Andrew Luck can, because I am a firm believer that if Andrew Luck never retired, that he would become the face of the NFL, and it would be a Mahomes and Patty internal conflict for years and years to come. I believe Andrew Luck was that good.
No, I definitely agree. Luck was one of the quarterbacks that I really, really enjoyed watching play. I thought it was funny how nerdy he was, and the Andrew Luck book club was always really funny. Trevor Lawrence has the weapons in Jacksonville, in Laviska Shenault, Colin Johnson, DJ Chark, Travis Etienne, James Robinson. So he's got some weapons, more weapons than Andrew Luck had in Indianapolis when he started his career. So, I mean, you've got the weapons. Now you've got to kind of put up or shut up. Urban Meyer had the can't beat him, so join him mentality. And went ahead and took Trevor Lawrence. I had to take a shot at my boy Bagels.
And Travis Etienne. Don't forget that one too.
Yeah. So I really, really, really like Trevor Lawrence, and I think he's going to be really good. I just obviously I would put right now Luck is above Lawrence in my opinion. With Ken, if Luck didn't have to retire because of injuries, it's him and Patty are the top 2 quarterbacks for face after Brady retires. Bagels, what says you?
Ken, I loved your point that this guy was being touted as the number 1 pick from his freshman or from high school, because him and Justin Fields were 1-2 in that class from Georgia. And we didn't hear anything about Justin Fields until that 4th down play in college, transfers to Ohio State, does well. I think at this point in their careers, freshman year, I think, of course, Trevor Lawrence is probably built better for the NFL. But the thing that I can't overlook, and Ken kind of alluded to it with another potential comeback, was the 2013 comeback against the Chiefs that Andrew Luck had. Like that, by far one of my favorite comebacks ever. Like it's just like that's always going to be seared in my mind. So when I say, like, yes, I think Andrew Luck right now is better than Trevor Lawrence, but at this point in their careers coming out of college, Trevor Lawrence is far surpasses Andrew Luck. But my favorite thing about Andrew Luck coming out of college was his big hits when he would turn the ball over. I don't know if you guys have seen those clips, but he'd throw an interception and just lay the DB out, like middle of the field. Like it was fucking hilarious, to be honest.
Let's not forget, though, that Trevor Lawrence went to a much better college than Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck could have gone to any school he wanted to go to.
He got an education.
And he wanted to go to Stanford because he wanted, like Ken said, the education.
You can't say enough good things about the guy.
Yeah.
Honestly. He's just
but
a big
he could have
goof.
gone to a Alabama. He had scholarships everywhere in the SEC, but he chose to go to Stanford because it's basically an Ivy League school in a big football conference. So and he made Stanford look good. So, and they didn't have great talent. I think the best player that ever left Stanford that played with Luck was is his name Anumawa or something? Quincy Anumawa that played for the Jets for like a season and then flamed out. The receiver that was like Luck's go-to guy. So I mean, the talent that Trevor's played with compared to Luck, I still think Luck has an edge just because of what he did with such little talent.
I think that's fair. And I mean, that's the other thing too, is I think Luck actually built that resume for himself. Whereas I think, not that Lawrence didn't build it, but he built it so early. Like, as we were saying, like he was 17 years old and he was the most hyped thing that there was. And I think Andrew Luck redshirted it. I don't totally remember, but I'm pretty sure he did. And he kind of built that, I think, resume for himself over his career at Stanford, and I think he had to still build it in the NFL, because even though he was the slam dunk number 1 overall pick, he still had some progress to make, and he wasn't NFL game ready. And that's what I worry about Lawrence is, maybe he's not NFL game ready either. Maybe he needs some time to develop to be that front end talent, just like Andrew Luck did, just like Joe Burrow did last year, just like Kyler Murray did the year before. I mean, not everybody's going to come out and throw for 5,000-yard pace like Justin Herbert did. So I think that's something else that needs to be taken into account too, is if Trevor Lawrence comes out and has a mediocre year of like 22 touchdowns and 12 picks and 4,000 yards or something, like, it doesn't mean he's bad. It just means he's taking that, he's on that Andrew Luck route, because Andrew Luck's rookie year I don't think was all that special either. It was good. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't
with the extra game too. I think we'll see a little bit. We'll see inflated stats for sure. Because they get to play that extra game. So, I mean, the extra game is huge. I mean, you could see tons of records fall by the wayside.
Like Derrick Henry's going to break the rushing record this year.
I mean, that's super. I mean, imagine if he had one more game last year, he probably crushes.
I know.
Right?
I know.
He's going to get over 400 carries this year, probably.
There's a couple of records that might fall.
I see passing touchdowns being one for sure.
Yeah, by Patty or Josh.
Probably by Patty. I think Patty crushes every passing record this year if he stays healthy.
But do Steelers play Week 17 if they already have a lock in the playoffs?
I mean, that's fair. Well, you mean Week 18 or whatever it is?
Yeah,
it'd be Week 18 now.
Yeah,
I guess it's the same thing, just bumped out a week. I guess it depends. He might want to play if he's got passing records in his sights. He might want to play.
True.
It just depends, because some contracts are worked out where they get bonuses if they break certain records or reach a milestone passing yards or something. So if someone has like an incentive to reach, I think you may see them play. Patty probably doesn't matter, considering he owns half the Royals and it got paid like $500 million. So.
Yeah, no one's breaking Peyton Manning's single season passing touchdown record anyways.
Oh,
no,
my God, not
so.
this again. But anyways, Ken, ECBC, what happened last week? What are we looking for on the docket this week?
What happened last week? We had a break on, what was it, Sunday night that Bagels alluded to. It was fun. It was very fun. It was Bowman Draft, which, for those unfamiliar, if you get into a Bowman Draft break, you usually get close to what you paid for it, because it's just in quantity. It's a lot of first Bowmans, a lot of first player cards. And we pulled some good ones. Austin Kendrick, if you're not familiar, though, he's like a Reds top prospect. I don't know if he's the top prospect for the Reds, but he's up there. Really nice card. It's sitting right over here because I don't want to ship it via USPS. It's like a $500 card, and the guy who hit it lives in the next town, so I'm just going to drive it over there at some point. Figure keep it out of the hands of those monsters. Other than that, that was our only break that we had done last week, because I don't want to stretch the fellas too thin here, because there is a big week on tap here over the next 7 days, starting, of course, this Friday with Topps Chrome, which is, my opinion, the biggest baseball release of the year. Really what everybody's going after. Everybody's going after the parallels. Brian Hayes. There's some Kelnick, super, super short print in this bad boy. Bagels is starting shit in the Discord, I see. There's Kelenic super short prints I'm hearing a rumbling of if we are to take Shane's word for it. And really just one of the best releases of the year. Next week is next Wednesday, I believe, is my favorite football release, Certified NFL, the first real RPA of the season, the first real ability to get your hands on a sick RPA in pro unis of Trevor Lawrence's and Justin Fields, the future Hall of Famer, and Trey Lance, the other future Hall of Famer. So if you're interested,
Hall of Famer.
Kyle Pitts. Oh yeah, Kyle Pitts. Future
No, Mac Jones.
Oh, Mac Jones. Oh, yeah, and yeah, lots of other guys too. So it's going to be a really, really great product. I'm very excited for it. I plan to get a whole bunch. We'd love to have any one of you listeners come and join us, which is why I added my @EC Breaking Co. hashtag there to my name. Very fancy with the slash, as you can see. So if you would like to give us a follow, please, by all means. And if you're actually interested in getting into any cards, we can definitely hook you up. Myself, Bagels, Shane, and the rest of the ECBC Co. That's for sure. But Topps Chrome and Certified are the two big releases of the week. Those are what we're looking out for over the next 7 days. And after that, it's actually kind of like, to me, that's kind of like kickoff, because then it's football season, cards every other week pretty much.
Prism, can't wait.
Prism's a little while away, but we still got, like, I think Black is one of them. Elements is one of them. Donruss. Obviously Certified, the one we're talking about, but there's a shitload. There's a shitload.
So I didn't see this before, but Ken picks his college football team. Ken, you have a college football team you're picking?
What?
Yeah, I added that, boys. Ken, you don't have to pick tonight, but you're gonna have to get to support a college football team, because I remember Gooby and McGee or whatever. They want to talk college sports.
So it's just for the year?
Yeah.
Because I already have a college basketball team. So, okay, I can pick a college football team.
Yeah, I need a college football team.
I always support Kentucky basketball because I'm an absolute poser. So
So you're going to also support Kentucky football?
No, that's gross. No.
That's fair. So
I don't know. I like the hate Ohio State gets, so maybe I'll just root for them to get all the heat.
So
no, I'm just kidding. I got to pick somebody that Bagels doesn't root for.
So tune in next week. Ken will have his college
official college team of 2021. So this is who I think. So this is who I think's gonna like just completely.
Oh, this is the team that you're just gonna root for because you like them.
This is Viggy's Arsenal. This is gonna be Ken's.
Oh, Arsenal is not a 1-year thing.
Ken EPL team as well, because I really want Ken to get into soccer. So I'll eventually talk him into it. I'm easing him into it right now.
EPL is a little tougher,
but
I'm gonna have to wait for that. We're gonna have to table the EPL, but I can do the college football one. I can certainly do that. Living up here kind of sucks because college football sucks up here, so it's kind of.
I was gonna say college football in New Hampshire, Massachusetts is kind of non-existent.
Yep.
They had BC for a minute with Matt Ryan, but
it hasn't been relevant since Matt Ryan.
So it's I definitely feel the pain. You could always join FSU and hate your life like me. Or you could join Bagels bandwagon and be an Ohio State fan. I know you're not a bandwagon.
Whoa. No, I'm just
but I'm saying you drive the bandwagon.
Yeah. Circle the wagons. Oh, dude, you should be a Bryant University college football fan.
Bryant?
Do they have a football team?
Yeah. I had a couple had like a family of running backs go to that college. It's like D3.
I gotta do some research. I'm gonna pick the team.
I thought you were gonna say Oklahoma Sooners when you said circle the wagons. And I was gonna say Ken does look like a giant Spencer Rattler fan.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not.
But no, so tune in next week for that. Ken, do you have any I know you said you are dabbling in a soccer break coming up.
Ooh, I did, but see, that's tough though because I ordered it and it needs to ship to me. But I did. It's Stadium Club Chrome UEFA. It's gonna be good stuff. I only ordered one box because it's a pricey motherfucker. But yeah, it's a good one. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm very excited. It'll be is this our second soccer break? I can't remember.
Second
Yes,
because
sir.
we did Mosaic.
Yeah, I don't want to open it just because I don't want everybody to wait forever. But I'm hoping I'll get like some kind of notification or something at some point soon. But we'll see. We'll see how long it
It's
takes.
Champions League too, so I mean, obviously great players. The product that you do a quick eBay search. It's got Mbappe. It's got Mbappe's signatures. It's got Pedri signatures. Pulisic has signed in it.
The moral of the story is I'm buying inventory because I want to break it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Anything that's gonna be valuable or good, I want it because we're gonna break it.
What are your thoughts on
shit
elements?
right
Do you think elements is a thing?
That I got this. I mean, I'm just buying some shit now to like make sure we got locked and loaded. You never know when you're gonna need a break.
Do you envision yourself breaking elements?
Yeah, I do. It actually comes out before certified. I don't want to do a standalone elements break because it's a hitbox, but I might couple it with a box of certified or something like that.
I think you did that last year too, right?
We did. Yeah.
Yeah,
so I think we might
neon sign Clavion Chase on.
Oh yeah, and we pulled the Jalen Hurts with the Sharpie ink on it.
Yeah.
Silver Sharpie ink. But yeah, I think Elements is on the table. It's kind of cool because it's like those metal plated cards usually are autoed. So I think I would couple it with certified. Probably not on its own though.
Yeah. So it looks like we got some great stuff coming from ECBC. Make sure you guys give him a follow. Right down in his little
you know it
bubble box. I appreciate Bagels jumping in for Vig tonight again. If you get a chance, you're on Twitter. Shoot Viggy Betts a congratulations on his brand new daughter, named Sophia Marie. They finally came up with it at the hospital, so that's great.
Very good.
Ken, tell everyone where we can find you, brother.
Well, I don't have to spell it out for you guys today because I learned how to fit it all into one screen. There it is, right there for you all. Kembo J Slice is the personal account. EC Breaking Co. is the official breaking account of ECBC. I'm on both, very active on both. So by all means, reach out, get yourself into the Discord. I don't have a card on me, but we'll hook you up. DM us, DM any of us. We'll all get you in there. And we would love to have you, please. By all means, don't be afraid to ask.
At a Bagel, security of ECBC. Where can we
Yeah,
find you?
you guys can find me on Twitter right here. Out of Bagels. Not really active on Twitter. I'll like your stuff, but mostly I just tweet out when Ask Us Sports goes live. But yeah, love to have you guys in the Discord. ECBC is great. Look for me College Game Day in Columbus, Ohio with the giant lighthouse cardboard cutout. Yeah, that's all I got.
And you can follow me at Ask Us Sports or at S_Miller_27, I believe. Yeah, that's it. You can follow me there on Twitter. Ask me anything you want, cards, sports, recipes. I'm pretty active on Twitter. I talk about a lot of stuff, but yeah, definitely hit me up. We got some stuff cooking, Ken and I. Maybe you'll see Bagels more often. We're gonna got a lot of stuff cooking, but otherwise, everyone have a great night.
Yeah.
Of course, man. You guys, love you all.
Love everyone. Mwah.
He did it again.